He hopes they add more large black barges.
Oh
Well,
man.
we've got two more. There's only 2 out of 4 there so far. So your dreams will come true, Jeff. God.
You know what I hate? I'll just never mind. Don't worry about it. Let's not worry about it. All right, here we go. We're starting. You ready for starting?
We're ready.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Welcome, everybody. Ears up in depth. We're back in the studio after a few trials and errors. Jeremy and I have connected via the internet, and I appreciate the internet for technology because we were having issues with our, and no one cares, with our broadcast software, and we had to roll through, what was it, Jeremy, like 3 other types of video conferencing software to finally
Yeah.
get something that works with OBS for me to broadcast this whole thing
Right.
out. And I feel like even 5 years ago, we would have been stuck. Like there's nothing we could do, or even 2 years ago. But now there's at least 3 different options, and they all work. Well, 4 really.
So many options. They're all powered by the same thing, though. I think
They
that's
are.
the core of the issue.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like, let's try this one that's the same.
that's exactly the issue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like Zoom. Zoom powers Ring Central. That's what we usually use. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but whatever. But they have inherently in them like something I think that like blocks window capturing software. That's why it wouldn't work with OBS, which is what I use to broadcast the show. But we have to window capture the chat, the video thing in the third computer to then feed it out to the internet. So it's like this whole convoluted setup. I have 4 here. I'm going to take a picture of my friggin' setup because it's just insane. I have 4 computers. I have 4
Sure,
computers. It's insane. Just to talk about stupid Disney news.
Just to prattle on.
Just to complain.
We could really just have a phone call, someone record it, and then just put it out there with like a tape. We could mail tapes of this to people.
Oh yeah. There's this pod that I listen to. I guess it's a really more of a radio station. Anyway, it's called Dollar Country, and I think I've talked about it before. But this dude just buys like big, boxes of old country and western albums, or just old album, vinyl in general. But
Okay.
he's like focuses on like 40s, 70s unknown country like artists. Like I like outlaw country or like old country, right? Not like the my brand new Ford and my mama, like that kind of thing. Um,
That is the stuff you like, or
no,
that's
that's
not the
not.
stuff you
That's not. I don't know, man. I like old school country. That's just
like?
me.
Okay.
Like Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson and people like that, right?
Willie Nelson. Okay.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
this
yeah.
who you'd hear on like Hee Haw?
I don't know that. I don't know, but maybe. Anyway, so Dollar Country. If you guys are into that kind of stuff, like unknown country artists, check it out. He's on Instagram, posts a lot of songs, but he does a podcast. Anyway, um, he sells mixtapes, like cassette tapes, and I really want to buy them, but I don't have a cassette player. Like I feel like it's
Yeah.
2021. I'm like I don't know, man. I want to. Anyway.
Well, I feel like you could easily get your hands on a
Yeah,
cassette
but
player.
I guess I don't care that much.
I guess not. I mean, you could probably ask Alexa to get you a cassette player to be there by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Right now, you know.
Assembling in your garage now.
Yeah, Alexa's great.
We were talking before the show, though, Jeremy, about rumors.
We
You
were
want to
talking
talk?
about rumors.
You want to talk about your rumor or no?
Well, I just was sharing with the chat that they were asking me what I think's happening.
Yeah.
They said you love to go to Epcot, and my ear is to the ground now that I'm down here in Florida. I'm definitely reading the tea leaves, and one of the things that I heard is that starting on February 13th, cast members are blocked from the parks for like a solid 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, that smells like the opening of a new attraction, if you ask me.
Oh.
So that's the speculation. That's the word around town.
What attraction?
I was Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at the Epcot France Pavilion.
You think that's I mean, that's the only thing that it could be, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the first we were able to go to the bathroom in its bathrooms. I called that one.
You did.
Then I didn't call this one, but then last week, so you could go back there, but there was still construction walls up. You couldn't really get near the actual attraction itself. Well, this week those walls came down, so now you can pretty much just go lurk around, move around that area. You just can't go on the attraction. So it's moving in that direction. And then now with this cast member blackout, I think it's coming.
Sounds good to me, dude. I believe you.
This would be a good time. I mean, I walked onto that Frozen ride last night. I don't think we waited more than 10 minutes, and usually it's like a 70-minute wait over there in Norway.
Is it a good ride? Did you enjoy it? No, it's not really.
No, that's not a good ride. No, it's terrible. It's a very quick. It's fine. It's a lot of Olaf. It's a boat ride. It's a dark ride in a boat.
Well, because they killed Maelstrom for it, and
right.
I don't know anything about it other than if most of the Epcot internet is up in arms about something, then it must have been a good ride. But when Taryn and I were there, it was already closed down.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a little disappointed about that. So I was like, oh man, this is one of those things I'll never get to experience. But I heard it was good in that kitschy sort of Disney, way where it's like, wow, this really needs to be updated, but it's gone so long without being updated that it's cool again.
Right, now it has to stay this way.
Yeah, it's like my wardrobe.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering. I think we're in the stage where it's not cool yet, though.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough, man.
We're on our way.
That's fair. So you think Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is going to open soon, huh?
I think so.
You heard it here first. Actually, on the last Ears Up show, we did talk about your bathroom rumor in our news. You made our news segment.
I did. Oh, because we had a quick show, so I threw it in there at the end.
No, on the last main show last week, I talked about it.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. Oh, I did hear that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Oh, you listened?
I listened. Oh. I was out for a run and I listened to the podcast and I heard you make. I was so angry because first of all, I'm running. I'm angry because I don't like running. I just do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like towards the end. So like now I'm like in the run and I'm sweaty and I'm annoyed and you're like, that's a run on. And I was like, but like, there's nothing I can do to take my frustration out. I'm just running. Like I want to call you up and be like, go away.
Jason, I hate you.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I hate this guy.
You know what?
That's a run on.
You know
I
what?
got so pissed.
Oh man, I love that because in my head, as I said that, I thought he's gonna listen to this running. He's gonna hear about this while he's doing his stupid run.
No, you didn't.
I did. I swear to God, I did.
Well, I was. Run on while I'm running.
Wow.
Is what happened.
So, mazel to you.
Well, that's a dainty glass. What are you drinking?
Well, after today's debacle, I decided that I deserve some rum.
Okay.
And I got a rum advent calendar. I'll probably cut this out of the show. Don't worry about it because this is boring. I bought a rum advent calendar for like Christmas because I'm thinking I'm gonna do. It's a thing of 25 rums. It's like an ounce or 2 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
One for every day. I could do that. Yeah, after about 5, you're like, I kind of don't really feel like drinking rum right now. So I still have some. So this was from December 13th. That's how far behind I am.
Yeah, you're behind.
It's just Jamaican 2019 Pedro Ximénez finish barrel selection rum. I don't know. It's cute.
Okay. Are you enjoying it in that?
I do. I like it.
Do you just drink it straight or you got it with some Coke?
No, I drink it straight. I put a little I did Coke before. No. I put a little ice in it. Just to water it down a little bit.
Okay. All right. Good.
I guess. I don't know, man. All right.
And now you're washing it down with a brew.
Don't ever call it a brew, please. It's not a brew. Brew is a verb. It's not a noun.
Is it a brew from Frisco? For Jace? That's your name of your bar. Jace's Frisco Brews.
Ice cold Frisco Brews from Jace.
At Jace's place.
You're a,
Yeah.
whatever. Who wants to go first? We should really do this before him. We never do.
We never do. Well, I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
How about that?
I love it.
Well, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news this week, but I don't know how you're going to feel about this. There are some changes coming to the Jungle Cruise.
I am 100% ready for this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you were 100% ready for the changes.
No.
But that's what happened. I think we found that out yesterday. The Jungle Cruise is the latest in a series of attractions that Disney has announced will undergo changes to its storyline. Disney announced this week that the Jungle Cruise at both Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom and Disneyland in Anaheim will receive updates to its story, which will put the story of the Jungle Cruise skippers at the center of the adventure now. The Disney Parks blog described the changes in a post, quote, "Today, we're excited to share that we are building on that story of the Jungle Cruise at both Disneyland Park and Disneyland at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World Resort to include new adventures that stay true to the experience we know and love, more humor, wildlife, and skipper heart, and also reflect and value the diversity of the world around us," end quote. In this new update to the Jungle Cruise, guests will follow the story of a skipper and his or her passengers as their journey goes awry. The skipper will not only be a live, witty guide, but they will also be represented by a figure in the attraction itself. So I'm not sure how that works. Like,
okay.
like it's like, oh, look, there's me. So I don't know how like the logistics of this work, or maybe I don't understand it, but that's sort of how I'm picking it up.
Yeah.
Kim Irvine, executive creative director of Walt.
Boo! Hiss! Boo!
I had never seen her before, but her picture is next to her quote in the article on the Disney Parks blog.
She's actually not that bad looking.
She likes her bangs. She weighed in saying, quote, "I'm fortunate to be part of the Jungle Cruise team that is carrying forward a Disney tradition of change and enhancement that was encouraged by Walt Disney."
Stop.
So this is where I get annoyed, because it's like, I don't think that Walt was in favor of change for the sake of change. Like, we have to change it because we have to change it. And it's like Disney's very forward in defending things, defending whatever they're doing, and then wrapping Walt in it. Like, I'm sure Walt's like, leave me out of this. Like, I don't know what you're doing, Like, it was encouraged by him.
I'm telling you, this whole thing pushes forward my idea of having a seance night where we get a Ouija board and we try to contact the guy and see what he thinks about it.
I haven't heard you broach this one.
Oh my gosh! You know what actually would be better? I'm gonna hire a psychic. I'm gonna hire a psychic.
Oh my God!
To conduct a seance, to contact Walt, and I want to talk to Walt through this person. I'm gonna do that. You Patreon supporters.
That's yeah. Your Patreon account is like tanking. You'd be like, I don't want my money going for that.
Yeah, what is an insane person?
I actually think it's a fantastic idea. I think it should be the biggest show of the year.
Oh my God, should. Oh, you know what? We're coming up on our 200th ep. I mean, we just did 177 or something like that.
Oh, so it'll be this year for sure.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, there you go.
Well, coincidentally, later this year, a Jungle Cruise movie starring The Rock and Emily Blunt will be released, but it seems, at least for now, there are no plans to incorporate that movie into the Jungle Cruise. So I was actually a little refreshingly surprised when they said changes to the Jungle Cruise coming. The first thing I thought was Emily Blunt and The Rock, and it doesn't seem that that's what's happening. So I kind of like that this is really just continuing what Imagineering does, which is create their own stories. God, who knew? Though that hasn't stopped some fans from hoping for it. Someone on the Disney Parks blog commented, quote, "I hope Emily Blunt's and The Rock's characters from the film show up at some point too."
Yeah, right. That was from a burner account from the person who wrote that blog, because nobody hopes that they see Emily Blunt in the Jungle Cruise. Come on, man.
But like, even like, why would you hope that you haven't? No one's seen the movie. How do you know you hope that?
Right. Oh, that would be so
that
sweet.
makes me so angry.
Yeah. It should.
The Jungle Cruise is one of the few remaining attractions personally worked on by Walt himself, and was an opening day attraction at Disneyland at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. It is also featured at Tokyo Disneyland and Hong Kong Disneyland, though there is no news at this time what, if any, changes will be made to the attraction at those parks in Asia. The Jungle Cruise has in recent time been criticized for its dated portrayal of indigenous people, and this change is a quote needed update, according to Carmen Smith, executive for creative development and inclusion strategies for Walt Disney Imagineering. This won't be the first time change has come to the Jungle Cruise throughout its history. The original attraction opened with a much more serious tone and was meant to provide a more realistic journey through several of the world's jungles. In the 1960s, several changes, including a more playful, humorous storyline and enhancements designed by Imagineer Mark Davis, made the attraction into a version more recognizable to guests today. Other attractions such as Pirates of the Caribbean and more recently Splash Mountain have also either undergone or are planned to undergo changes in light of evolving attitudes for how people and cultures are depicted. This update, however, seems palatable to me, but I worry because they're saying, no, we're going to make it funny. I don't think Disney is funny. I think they've lost that ability. They had it, and there were some moments in some of the Renaissance movies where it's like the humor was kind of operating on two levels, one for the kid, and then there were some like jokes for the adults.
You're right.
They don't do that anymore. They don't get it. They're not funny people. So I don't think that's going to happen. So Jungle Cruise is coming. What do you think?
Well, I have a love-hate relationship, as everybody knows. It's well documented. I'm on record that I don't really like the Jungle Cruise the way it's written. I love the ride. If I could ride that ride with no skipper, I would stand in line. I would stand in line 45 minutes for that. I love the ride. I think it's great. I think it's cool. I think it's kitschy. I think it's old school, even though it's had some refreshments. I love the thing. I think it's great. My favorite part is the headhunters, is the villagers. The exact thing they're removing. So that crashed boat scene is going to go where the villagers are. And maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but that's probably where it's going to go. Probably.
Okay.
So the villagers are gone. I don't know if Trader Sam is gone. So the problem I have is multifaceted. But if okay, first of all, there are headhunters in the world. It's not. I don't. Because they're wrapping it up in an inclusivity and an anti-racism thing.
Right.
I don't know if it's racist. I mean, what race of people are they depicting? That's my stupid white person take. But if people are truly offended by it, let's go talk to headhunters. Go out there, talk to some headhunters, and see if they are actually really offended by this. Because there are honestly people still being killed by arrows from undiscovered tribes in the Amazon, like that happened 2 years ago or whatever. Like missionaries getting hit with arrows and dying from these undiscovered tribes. Like it's a thing. Warfare among tribes is a thing that happens. If they don't know who you are, some tribes will throw arrows at you to drive you away. That's just what it is. That's what that ride was depicting. The headhunter thing happened. Of course, headhunters in general is sort of a quote unquote romanticized version of exploring the dark, jungles and the colonialism of the darker skinned people by the lighter skinned, people ordained by God. So I understand like how that sort of sits, but I feel like the Disney version is so innocent, where it's like we're driving through their territory. Oh God, everyone duck. They're cruising along. Hey, here's the headhunter. And then that's it. Like there's no sort of like we're taking back the darkest jungles from the savages. There's nothing like that. And I think people drawing those parallels are sort of, I heard the term the other day, trauma collectors, where they're just sort of like, well, I want to go to bat for everybody that I feel has been wronged in the world. And so they collect all other people's traumas to make themselves feel good about it.
Right.
I've never heard, and I've been doing this show for 6 years, right? I have never heard anybody say anything remotely close to the Jungle Cruise is racist. I've never heard that. I've heard it from Splash Mountain. We've talked about it tons of times. Never once have I heard anything about Jungle Cruise. The other side of that is, if they get rid of Trader Sam, I feel like that rewrites the story behind Trader Sam's bar. Because if you go into Trader Sam's bar, it's full of these old-timey photographs of exactly what people have a problem with, or what Disney says people have a problem with, is people colonializing these deep, dark jungle areas, right? It celebrates the colonialism of the world by the white man. You go in there, there's pictures of explorers with natives and doing all this kind of stuff. So are you going to pull all that stuff as well? Where do we stop? Where do we stop? Like, I guess I don't understand the problem with a cruise going through a jungle and running into natives, and they don't want you here, so they throw spears at you. I don't understand that. It makes no sense to me.
Right. You get the sense that there is almost like a fear of even just mentioning someone, someone who's different from yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like you can't even depict anything. Like I almost think that there's like it's like you do have to wonder, like, who is, like you said, who is really offended by this? Were there cannibals? Because there are, that, like you said, there are cannibals in the world.
Yeah.
Were they coming and saying, this is a really terrible way to depict us cannibals? It's actually, a way of life. This is just white people who feel guilty and just feel like they need to project that on there. I do think that, because it's definitely a different story than um, even Pirates of the Caribbean. You could say, like, well, gee, that's not really the nicest way to show women, But
Or
this is like,
anybody. Like, you listen to the lyrics of that song, like, we kidnap and plunder and don't give a hoot, or whatever it says. So the ride, you're celebrating kidnapping. That's what you're doing. You're celebrating
right,
the transaction, or the not the marketing, but the trafficking. You're celebrating the trafficking of humans, mostly women,
right,
by singing that song in the park. So at what point do we draw the line? Like, I understand the implications of the men chasing the women, because
yeah,
okay, they're going to rape the women, probably. That's the implication. Yes, let's remove that. That's fine. The redhead thing, I didn't like. People love it, so that's fine. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But at some point, you're just chipping away at the foundation of what the ride actually is. So if you want to change the message of the ride, you should probably start with the song lyrics. We're talking about pirates now, right? You should change the
sure,
song lyrics too. But to what? The whole
right,
ride then becomes irrelevant and unnecessary and needs to be changed, because you're talking about pirates coming into a ride burning people's homes. Was
right.
that Disney? No, it's not Disney. But is it more or less Disney than a Jungle Cruise boat going through the jungle getting spears thrown at it?
Right.
I don't know. That being said, I do sort of like the addition of the crashed tour boat. I think that's funny. I think
Yeah,
it's cool. The removal of, like, the native guides going up the pole with a rhinoceros poking at their
yeah.
booties. Taryn pointed out, she's like, "Oh, so you're removing people of color and putting more white people in the ride." I'm like, that's a funny take, and that's exactly what they're doing. But there's, like, from the sketch, there's like a black man and like an Asian woman, and so it's like they're really trying to just stretch out this inclusivity thing. I don't mind so much, but it's like it is sort of, I mean, if you want to get into the weeds of being inclusive and accepting of everybody, you're removing people of color to put in more white people in a ride.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't understand it.
Well, I also have never gone through and there thought, oh, that's who that tribe. I know that tribe. That's how they are. Like, they're pretty nondescript.
They're just,
It's
yes.
just like, you don't, it's like it's not easy to point out who or what that is. It's just general people who live in the jungle, which is a thing in many places.
Well, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was like 2007, or 2017, or maybe 18, that I think he was an Asian man. He was a Christian missionary, caught an arrow from from one of those undiscovered Amazon tribes.
I remember this.
They have dark skin. So it's like, I don't know. At some point, where do you draw the line between stereotype and racism? And I don't know that. And I will always default to, if you're offended, I'm going to listen to you, and I'm gonna accept that you're offended by this thing, and you tell me why you think you need to change it. I I'm open to it. I'm not saying no, never change anything, because whatever, forget people's
Sure.
feelings. Like, we're trying, but I've never heard anybody being up in arms about this. And maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know that any tribes out there are like, well, we just came out of the Amazon and we got our iPhone 12s, and boy, do we have a list of things that you guys need to do to change and make us feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, where do you draw the line? You talk about Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Do you think people of lower stature, dwarves, whatever, do you think they'd like being depicted as miners only? That's all they're good for, is digging in the small tunnels. Do you think
Right.
Dopey is happy with just being considered a dumb person and not talking? That's why he's Dopey, because he's deaf and dumb. Like, you know what I mean? He's not deaf, but you know what I mean. It's those perils that we try to draw. There's a
Right.
line somewhere, and we're crossing it right now. In my opinion, I think that Disney has been waiting for this moment for a long time to refresh the Jungle Cruise, because it is sort of stale. But again, it's a ride that's been around since the opening day and has tens of minutes of waits. Like, there's usually a 30-minute wait for that ride still to this day.
Yeah.
But I think they wanted to refresh it. I think this is an excuse, and I feel like it's even worse to use like social justice as a reason for refreshing a ride, versus we feel like it's the right time just to let's put something new into the ride. I don't know. Like I said, I'm always going to default to, if you're offended by that, then let's talk about it. I want to know about why. But I've never heard anybody say that they're offended by this.
I've seen people on Diz Twitter bring it up, but you didn't see it until Pirates and Splash Mountain. It wasn't a thing. I never had heard it. People loved the Jungle Cruise. They were doing, at the D23 Expo, they're doing seminars on the Jungle Cruise with the skippers, and it was celebrated within recent years. So it is a little bit new, but things have gotten very heightened recently. So I suppose now is the time.
Yeah, the only thing I really care about is having Trader Sam in there, because he really ties to the bar, and I'm curious to see where they draw the line within their own sort of like orbit of that storyline, right?
Right.
If they change a Jungle Cruise too much, that changes the story of Trader Sam's. And are they gonna draw that parallel? Are people upset with the tiki culture? Yes, I've heard that more often than I've heard people are upset with the Jungle Cruise culture.
Okay. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it seems like this is going forward, and I think it's going to be before the year's out.
Oh yeah, I would guess. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, as you know, 2 weeks ago, Disneyland announced that it was canceling the popular annual passport program. And of course, people went nuts, as they tend to do. With no announcement as to what will replace it just yet, we are all left wondering what Disney has up their sleeves. Well, as a stopgap, Disneyland is rolling out a new program meant to bridge the gap and ice the bruising of their missing annual pass program. Posted today. This rum is getting to me. Hold on. Posted today over to the Disney Parks blog, the Disneyland Annual Passport Club, for lack of a better term, is being renamed. For anyone who has held an active pass starting March 14th, 2020, will now be called a Disneyland Resort Legacy Pass Holder.
Okay.
Yeah. Being a legacy pass holder, aside from the extra air of superiority, means you will still get discounts on merch and food, with the same options to buy exclusive AP trinkets. No word yet on if you get a cool magnet with this new title.
For how long is that going to go on for? So are people going to keep this annual pass and hang on to it forever?
Well, I think since they've killed the program, they're going to refund everybody. But if you had your thing, I guess they're going to keep you on record. I don't know. There's no really details about how, like, the logistics of how that's going to work.
Very strange.
Yeah. The blog does say that they are, quote, working on adding more magic during this limited time. So brace yourself for a free upgrade from a medium soda to a large soda. Probably. I mean, there's really not much more that they can do, seeing as Disneyland is limited to Buena Vista Street and downtown Disney. I mean, maybe you'll get discounts on parking with this annual passport legacy program, whatever. If you are now considered a legacy pass holder, get your ears to Buena Vista Street and save 30% off selected merchandise between now and February 25th. So for the next month, you get 30% off selected items because we love the fact that you are a discount or an AP holder. Because apparently that's all your loyalty grants you. Oh, and that's only between Monday and Thursday. So please don't try to show up on Saturday looking for your discount.
I feel like this is just an alternative to them taking markdowns. Like, but no one, you know what I mean? Like, well, before we take the markdowns, let's just see if we can get the APs to come in and get rid of some of this before we have to go 50 off.
The APs are the leeches, where, like, in the Middle Ages, they would just pour the jar of leeches over you to see if that would work, and then they would amputate. Like, that's, yeah. But here's the best part of the blog post, only because I really don't like the Disney blog voice they use, to write these things in. Depending on the mood I'm in, it alternates between patronizing and insincerely kind. Quote, legacy pass holders can still enjoy some of those ever so magical extras that celebrate you. Like when you get the chance to scoop up some special merchandise or enjoy some food and beverage offerings, or those special surprise and delight moments. And of course, there are those fantastic passport discounts that have been extended for a limited time, from food and beverage offerings to shopping at selected locations all around downtown Disney District and Buena Vista Street. It's the magic that makes being a Disneyland Resort Legacy Pass holder such an unforgettable experience. And that's just for starters. We're working on adding more magic during this limited time, so get ready to be surprised, delighted, and most of all, celebrated. Because that's what being a Disneyland Resort Legacy Pass holder is all about.
So basically, translation is, we don't want you around when this thing's all back up and running, but in the meantime, we don't want to piss you off by canceling the program. So could you just keep coming and spending money? Like, that's what we need from you.
Or we've already pissed you off because we've already canceled the program, but let's pass on this discount and let's get you back in on the slower days. Yeah. So, but don't forget, Jeremy, get ready to be celebrated by having this very extreme window of time where you can use this 30% off thing plus 10% off an ice cream or some nonsense. Like, you're celebrating me. I'm old enough to remember when annual passes were cheaper and you got a friggin' calendar.
Yeah, you've really got a stick in your craw about that calendar. I've heard about it many times.
I liked it. It was cool. Anyway, naturally, Disney fans have something to say to this. And in taking a page from your reporting notebook, Jeremy, I went over to Twitter to find out the hot takes on the street, on the digital street. The AP Twitter account is still at Disneyland AP, but the title reflects the program's name change. In replying to the announcement, several fans were chiming in with their displeasure. Here's the tweet. Welcome, Disneyland Resort Legacy Pass holders. Thank you for having been a Disneyland Resort annual pass holder as of March 14th, 2020, the date of our park's closure. Get ready to be delighted with magical extras that celebrate you. So it makes like no sense to me at all. Like, they link to the announcement, but they don't mention the name change within the tweet. They just welcome Legacy AP. So perhaps if they, I don't know, hadn't fired their entire social media team, this would have gone over better. But anyway, let's get into the weeds and figure out what Twitter users are saying to the Disneyland Resort Legacy Pass holder account now. At Ethermac says, first off, period, you have given so beeping much to Florida Pass holder. period. When people who have Disneyland AP haven't gotten beep, we have gotten nothing. Absolutely nothing. All you've given us is 3 days out of the week that we get 30% off select merch. It's utter bull because you have not done anything for us for about 10 months. You're just pouring salt on the wound. I hate you.
I love anything that ends in I hate you.
Yeah. Then someone replied back to them. It was like a dude, calm down. It's just like a thing. And they came back with, shut up, ugly.
I can't believe you found my personal account on Twitter.
I found your burner, man. And then it's funny because like this person said shut up ugly to, they replied, were like, that's the best response I've ever gotten on this on Twitter at all. Like they took it in stride. No word yet if that person was actually ugly.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Gal Jedi writes, right after I was waiting for my pass to expire so I could switch it to Flex in March. So I get no perks despite being a pass holder for years. Danielle Esque says, I feel like we've all been abandoned by a parent who keeps popping in with really cheap gifts once in a while to pretend like they still love us. Spoiler alert, they don't. Get lost with your legacy BS, Disneyland. April Zierbaugh says, when should we expect our refunds? I haven't received any secondary communications in that regard. And this is sort of a common thread. There's like, when I looked, there was like 140 comments. Many of them were like, where's my refund? I still haven't gotten anything for it.
Sure, I haven't gotten mine.
Dumb Chapel says, sounds like a whole lot of nothing to me. Figment Fever says, how are those refunds coming along? Karma Darling says, lol, what? Nope. So nobody understands the tweet, first of all. You have to click on the thing and read this entire blog post. Even then, it's sort of like out of the Twilight Zone where you feel disconnected, like you missed something. And in my opinion, this is an example of like upper management doing the work of like people who used to do this for a living, right? Like the social media team or the blog team. But now it's people who are out of practice and they don't really understand how to like communicate in certain specific terms. So they go, well, look, let's do it like we name our parades and spectaculars. Let's celebrate dreams and wishes of you and being in the like the certain like the 10 buzzwords that Disney likes to use. Let's throw that around. It'll pacify anybody. Everybody will be totally fine. Meanwhile, the entire thread is just people going, this is stupid.
Yeah, sometimes, and this is the thing I criticize Disney for this a lot, is they don't realize that less is more. Like, you'd have been better off just doing nothing and shutting up. But they won't. They just can't help themselves. They had to go to the buzzword wall, close their eyes, pick 5 flashcards down, and print whatever was on them.
I agree. Yeah, and that's what I don't really understand about Disneyland, man, and Disney in general. I guess it's a lot of buzzwords, a lot of keywords, and it's a lot of you. Well, let's focus on you for a change. Well, if you focused on me, you wouldn't be raising the prices all the time. You know, this is what people are really outraged about, is when you raise the prices of beer and food and alcohol. The park tickets, not so much, because you sort of expect that. But like when you raise the prices of something and you don't get anything for it in return, because as Disney fans, we all go, oh well, you know, the ticket prices go up because, well, we have to do upgrades. We have, you know, that money's automatically in your mind going back into the parks to like enhance stuff or whatever. Meanwhile, Bob Iger has $26 million in his pension fund. You know what I mean? Every year this came out. Every year he defers $500,000 to an interest-bearing account that doesn't count on his annual fund. He gets over $100,000 for sitting on the board of Disney.
Yeah,
that's in addition to his salary. Like, they pay them outrageous amounts of money when there's one park open. So it's sort of, I feel like the backlash is sort of growing now against Disney because all this stuff is coming out due to the pandemic. It's like, well, if you have money to redo the Jungle Cruise, Why don't you have money to fix some of the problems? Or why are you charging more money for stuff? Why are you raising the prices on us? Disney is still sort of like the middle class haven of like what you can do, maybe upper middle class, it's like the goal to take your family to. We don't need to be charged $12 for a glass of beer. That's insane. It's insane.
Well,
Anyway.
it definitely feels tone deaf at best. And it's like rubbing salt in the wounds to people, I think. When I read it, I was like, also, I don't even, they have like the logo, the annual pass holder logo, and now it says legacy on it. I was like, who would want that?
I know it looks gross, and it's like, so I retweeted on our Ears Up account. I was like, oh, I can't wait for the magnets for this one. Because that's all it's going to be. And I don't know. I never really understood. And look, there's a lot of you out there who love the annual pass merch, and that's fine. Do what you want to do, buy what you want to buy, whatever. That's not my thing. I don't need it to say annual pass holder. I don't need everybody to know that I'm an annual pass holder. That kind of marketing, I don't understand. But if you're an annual pass holder, you want people to know that you go here a lot, and that's cool. There is some sort of like ego attached to how often you go to Disneyland, and that's fine. We need stuff to sort of like make us feel good, especially now. But I don't know, man. This is just, it's nice, I guess, to extend the thing, right? Extend your discount, extend the thing, but don't pretend like we're celebrating you. That's what I have a problem with. It's the language about, well, this is for you guys. Like, we would never really do this normally, but to be celebrated, you are celebrated. Just tell me I have the discount. Don't patronize me. Don't play it up like this. It
Well,
sounds
that's the thing.
disingenuine.
I think that we knew we had the discount.
What's that?
We knew we had the discount. They said in the email to pass holders, we're going to let you keep your discount through the end of the month.
Yeah.
That's it. You could have left it at that. We don't. Now this is the problem. They go up there on this, and they're on this soapbox, and they're doing the dance, and we're like, yeah, we know. And you could have just left it at that. Yeah. But now you look stupid.
Right. Exactly. And this kind of customer service opens the door for people to be a little more harsh, because it's you're churching it up. You're dressing this up as like, oh, well, we're bending over backwards to make you feel celebrated. True, they don't have to do this, but the way that you phrase it is insulting, and that's what people are taking issue with.
If you were a normal, sentient person who knows how to deal with other people, you know that you say, oh, shucks, we're really sorry that we have to get rid of the annual pass. You know what? We're going to let you have the discount to the end of the month. Yeah. And you shut up about it. It's like when you say like when you give to charity, you're not supposed to tell everyone. You're just supposed to do it and shut up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
do it and shut up. Tell us you're giving us the discount, and then say, you know what, we're going to do some extra cool stuff because we understand that it sucks.
Yeah.
And so there you go.
Yeah. Less is more. They don't understand it, but they don't understand that less is more in everything. We don't need big fountain barges. We don't need like it's just all. It's fine.
I wish we had a big fountain barge in Disneyland, man. That sounds really cool.
I'm happy to get one on the back of a tractor trailer and drive it across the country for you. You can have it.
Please do. Let's hear a word from our good friend Sean O'Sullivan.
We are proud to announce a fresh addition into our Hell or High series.
Whoa. Sully, hold on a second.
John, why is he starting in the middle? I don't understand.
He's not very smart. All right, here we go. Sean O'Sullivan.
Hello, it's Sean O'Sullivan, the brewmaster and co-founder of the 21st Amendment Brewery, and we are proud to announce a fresh addition into our Hell or High series of beers with Hell or High Pomegranate. Our California Bay Area brewery has done it again, creating a crisp and refreshing wheat beer that pairs well with the season. Hell or High Pomegranate is made with real fruit and is sweet with a slightly tart finish. It's a perfect beer to enjoy during this time of year and can brighten any rainy or wintry day. Behind all that soft and elegant pomegranate flavor and aroma is a wonderful wheat beer with its biscuity, light bready notes, and at a mere 4.9% alcohol is quite enjoyable. Hell or High Pomegranate is available across the country where 21st Amendment beer is sold on draft and in cans. That's right, cans.
All right, good job, Sully. Thank you. You can go now.
First of all, that is my favorite new improvement of the show.
Oh, really? Do you like that? Okay,
I
good.
love it.
Because I played it only because I couldn't find the actual text.
Yeah, we're doing it because it's great.
Okay, good. All right, good.
It's a nice little reprieve from.
I think so too, man. And this is the problem I have, like, especially with the other show that I do, like the Brewing Network is my other job that I reference all the time. And I like host the main show. I edit the other show. I do all the voiceovers for all the commercials, and it's like it's too much. And so I farmed this out to Sully. That was supposed to be me talking, and I'm like, Sully, look, I can't do it. I do 3 other commercials on this stupid show, and I host this show. I can't. It's too much of my voice, man. And he goes, yeah, I'll do it for you. Don't worry about
Yeah, you want variety for your ears, and also he's got a
Right.
very good radio voice. It's very deep. I like it. Sounds
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, man. I cleaned it up pretty good. I edited that. I'm pretty proud of that, honestly.
Oh, I was
Um,
complimenting him.
Well, yeah, but it's my audio production. So also, hey man, if you
Are you telling me?
if you need any
'cause-
marketing writing done, let me know. I take work. I helped adapt that script to a radio format. Anyway, whatever. Go ahead, Jeremy, please.
Okay. Are you a fan of the Olympics?
I do like the Olympics, man. I really do. I like some of the Olympics, some of the time. I'm mostly a Winter Olympics guy.
Me too. I
Yeah.
tend to lean more towards the winter ones.
Speed skating, hockey, the slalom is pretty tight.
Slalom is pretty tight. Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you now, and I don't care who judges me. Figure skating.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
I
I met
like the one-
Brian Boitano once.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I hung out with him at a bar in San Francisco. I'm just gonna tell you that
Wow.
right now. Yeah. Yep. That's all. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
And what did you guys say?
I mean, we were like with a big group, and so like it was one of our friends who knew him was like good friends with him, and I was happened to like be walking from one bar to the other, and I was like next to him, and I just told him, whenever you meet celebrities, you're sort of like inclined to tell them like a personal story. I don't know what that is. You sort of feel like motivated. So I was like, look, I know this is weird, but I just, I want to just let you know that like my mom really loved watching you skate, and she like really looked forward to watching your routines, and it was really special for her. And I really
that's nice.
appreciate that. Yeah, and he's like, oh, that's cool. And he punched me in the nut. No, I'm kidding. He was really nice dude, and that's it. That's all I got to say.
Well, 2020 was meant to be an Olympic year. Sorry for you, it was not going to be winter.
No, man.
But I'm sure you know that this was supposed to be a Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Tokyo was meant to host the 2020 Summer Olympic Games, but they, of course, had to be postponed until 2021 because of COVID. I'm so sick of COVID. But now, as the virus hasn't quite been beaten back as quickly as we all would have liked, there is uncertainty around whether or not this summer's games will be allowed to proceed as planned in Tokyo, or at least there's rumors. Not from me, but there are some people who are saying that they're rethinking it. Well, don't worry. The Sunshine State of Florida has stepped up with an offer to the International Olympic Committee to host the games in Central Florida as an alternative to Tokyo's venue. Did you hear about this?
I did, and I have things to say about it, and then I also have things that are counter to say about it. So I'm waiting for you to finish. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Jimmy Patronis, who is the state's chief financial officer.
I really hope he's a giant Harry Potter fan.
I don't get that. He's the state's chief financial officer, submitted a letter to the Olympic Committee this week laying out the state's case for hosting the games as a backup should Tokyo not be able to host. In his letter, Patronis touted Florida's performance in simultaneously keeping businesses open while keeping infection rates at or below national average, while some other states like New York didn't do so well. He went on to tout Florida's ability to host the NBA successfully this summer in the Disney World bubble, and also described the opening of Disney World as, quote, incredible model for how to run a complex organization in the midst of COVID-19. He added that Florida also has the transportation infrastructure, hotels, healthcare facilities that would be needed to successfully stage an event. He did not state in his letter whether or not having the Olympics in Florida would mean the events would be allowed to have spectators. Critics of the plan cite the fact that while this summer hundreds of millions of Americans are expected to finally have been COVIDated for their vaccine ID, uh, vaccinated for COVID, many other parts of the world that would be invited to participate would not yet have received a significant enough inoculations before traveling here. Although that would also be true for Tokyo. Thank you. If it proceeds with the games. But none of this may matter at all because a spokesman for the International Olympic Committee on Tuesday said the Olympic Games are still set to begin on July 23rd in Tokyo. So, Florida, we may not have to roll out the red carpet for the Olympics, and I certainly hope that we do not.
Really? Why do you hope not?
I love the Olympics. I also love them very far away from me. So I think back to when I was in the 2010s, or no, the 2000s, when I was living in New York, and Mayor Bloomberg was really pushing New York City as a candidate for the Summer Olympics. I think they were a candidate for 2012, which ultimately went to London. I don't know if they were in the finals, but there was a push. There was a committee. And I can just remember thinking the last thing New York needs is more construction and more people. Like, we just don't need it. Give it to
Right.
someone. We have no space. We're building skyscrapers 100 stories high because we don't have any room on the ground. So you've got go somewhere else where there's room. I don't want you around. I don't like it. And the traffic here in Orlando also, you got to build a lot more roads. There's not enough roads.
In any sort of sprawling, growing city, even out here in Oakley, we don't apparently take a lot of merit or put a lot of weight in infrastructure. We love building gas stations and we love building community centers, and there's a friggin' Amazon warehouse coming to our town, which is kind of cool. Hopefully it'll bring more jobs and whatever. But we still have the same roads. There's no plans to build any new roads. Where do you think people are going to go?
Right.
Already going through downtown sucks because it's a 1-lane street. So I don't even go to downtown anymore. So it's doing a disservice to the small businesses there. I can't imagine a larger city where you just sort of avoid the whole thing.
Yeah. My other thing is probably a bit more relatable, is I just don't know that, maybe our numbers are a bit better than some places, but I don't know that necessarily means suddenly dumping Olympics on us. It's just not, it's not time.
I mean,
I
feel like you can use the same argument as Disney World being open, so you should open Disneyland, to Disney World is open, so you should host the Olympics. I think it's the same argument, where it's your numbers are going down. At your lowest point, you were having 2,500 new cases a day. In California, we were at 5,000 cases a day at our lowest, maybe 4. Right now, or at our highest, we were having a couple weeks ago, we had 45, 50 a day. And that was, of course, after Thanksgiving, right? And things are going, lower, and that'll be my next story. But you guys are doing better, which sort of, gives some sort of credence to why Disneyland is still closed. But I mean, you did all the the sports bubble thing before, so maybe that's why. I don't know.
I think, we do have Epcot. We've already got 11 countries here.
That's true.
And I say there isn't a better. I don't want the Olympics, but if we are going to have it, I would say one reason for it is we used to have Illuminations, which was basically an Olympics opening ceremony every single night. So that's what's happening, but I don't think we're getting it.
No, I don't think so either, man. I think what you did is good for basketball, but I mean for the Olympics, I don't know, man. I don't think you could really deal with the Olympics. I think it's too much infrastructure to build up.
Well, if there's no spectators, I think there might be a case to be made, because we do have stadiums and pools and all that stuff. There's all that is here, I suppose. But we can't have the whole world coming here and descending on us. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
No, you can't have spectators, but I mean, just the broadcast infrastructure. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know, man. I think you guys did a good job down there with, like I said, with basketball or whatever sport it is. So maybe you
now
can
we
do
have
a
the
good job.
Super Bowl.
You're gonna have the Super Bowl there too, but you're gonna have spectators, but they have to be vaccinated. You have to show proof of
So
vaccination.
what is it just gonna be like the all bunch old people watching?
Yeah, maybe, man. Everyone will be falling asleep during the halftime show. Maybe I'll go. I get my second shot on the 6th of February.
Oh my word!
I know.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Go to the Super Bowl. It's only it's what 6? It's an hour from here. You can stay here.
Oh, that'd be great. I would love it. Look, if I can get a ticket to the Super Bowl, I would go. If I cared enough about football, I would go.
This would be funny to see you all of a sudden after all this. Your first outing is the Super Bowl.
Let's go!
Man, when he comes back, he comes back.
That's what I do. Anyway. As we've lamented before on this program, Jeremy, it's been hard to find Disney news out there on the internet. And it's even harder to find positive Disney news, especially when I'm looking. But I'm happy to report that the downtown Disney shopping district is opening up soon. Yes, on Monday, California Governor Gavin Newsom removed the stay-at-home order implemented last month, meaning residents can now feel free to move about the town. This also removes restrictions on outdoor dining. So while eating inside is still not allowed, this means restaurants in downtown Disney can reopen for service, which also means more jobs. In fact, Workers United Local 50 President Christopher Workers, he's a union boss, and his name is Workers. His last name is Workers.
Fascinating.
I was born into the union. I will never not be union.
I like how butlers are named Jeeves.
That's right. Said 232 of his dining and beverage union members would be recalled in the first wave of job recalls. So downtown Disney's opening up a little bit, actually a lot. 232 former Disney employees are coming back to work in downtown Disney. So as much shade as I like to throw on what's going on with Disney, it does seem like they tried to rehire past employees if they haven't found other work yet. So I think that's really cool. The metrics used to close the state have been previously kept under wraps, but were tied to the amount of available beds in intensive care units across the state. And this is sort of a point I like to make with people where they go, well, COVID and you're it's really not the percentage is very low that you're going to get it, and so that's the thing. A lot has been made of staying home to stop the spread of COVID. But in my opinion, what we really should be talking about is stay home so you don't catch COVID, so you don't end up in the ICU and get turned away. We don't overflow the ICU. Like this was the message in like April or May is let's reduce the load on the hospitals. And I feel like that messaging has sort of fallen by the wayside, especially in California, where people don't realize that that's the 15% accessibility of the ICU beds is the differentiation between staying at home and opening up. So if we open up, we need to have more than 15% ICU capacity. But if you go out and you're not masked and you have parties at home and you don't care about it, you're going to go to the ICU or you're going to send somebody there, which is going to drive the availability down. And it's going to shut everybody down, and then you're going to cry about it. And so we can do a lot to help not whinge on about this.
Yeah, that's a reason why they're very keen for people to get the flu vaccine this year too, because it's like prevent what you can prevent.
Right. Exactly. Under pressure, Gavin Newsom revealed his projections for the state, prompting the removal of the stay-at-home order. According to the state, we are expected to have a decrease in hospitalizations in the coming 4 weeks, pushing the open space and ICUs up over the required 15% cap. This capacity takes into account not only coronavirus patients, but those who would need intensive care for other reasons, even if there were no pandemic. It's part of the reason why, we're not trying to drive anywhere or whatever, because, if you get a car wreck or whatever, you don't want to go to the hospital for any reason right now. You don't want to do it. So it's another reason to stay home. But anyway, the state said the Southern California region, which includes more than half the state's population, will go from 0 ICU capacity under the state's weighted formula to 33.3% in 4 weeks. Think about that.
Wow.
If you're in Southern California and you have to go to the hospital, the ICU, if you have a heart attack, if you get in a friggin' car accident, if you have chest pains, you can't go into the ICU. There is no room. There are no beds for you. Now you have COVID and you need to be intubated. Where are you going? There's nowhere to go. This is
Yeah.
the reason we need to keep people home. California, anyway. So there you go. So Downtown Disney's reopening for service. There's, of course, people saying that's really not a good idea considering what happened last time. When we reopened and Downtown Disney opened or whatever, and then Thanksgiving happened, and then cases skyrocketed, shutting everything down. So hopefully it was just Thanksgiving being the issue and not these other places being open. So we'll see what happens. But Downtown Disney opening back up, people are getting some jobs back, and that's really the positive spin on this.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem when you see the statistics of like where it spreads from, it seems that it is more like you said Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thank you. And
You look at my
Jason's,
my belly.
Jason's shirt
dude.
keeps coming up.
It really does. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe get a bigger shirt. I don't know what.
Maybe get a smaller belly. I think is really the part of
Your
it.
little baby doll shirt that you tie in the middle. It's not. But it's. Oh my word, this is something else.
It's becoming
He's got his
steamy.
stomach. Wow.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
I thought you were. Yeah. Okay. Now, I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm all flustered.
I
now.
distracted you.
Yes. Yes. Oh my word. Well, it doesn't seem that places, going into a store or whatever, that doesn't seem to be a primary place where it's spreading. It does seem to be, it's like these gatherings like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, where people were getting together in each other's homes, and then they're with each other for 2-3 hours at a time. And I think that is kind of what the Disneyland thing proves, is that you can go to an outdoor theme park and walk around, and if they're enforcing the masks, it shouldn't be too much of a super spreader event. So hopefully that's good.
Right.
And I'm glad some people are going to get back to work, because it's actually it's having a knock-on effect here. Like, you talk to people cast members here who are either out of work or working in different jobs for a much lower pay. And they're like, it's Disneyland. They're like, we need it to open because it's just put such a strain on the rest of the company. So hopefully it helps.
Same. All right, is that it?
Yeah, I think I've seen more than I need to tonight.
How dare you, first of all? How dare you?
It looks better than if I'd shown mine. I'm like real,
You're out of it?
I'm getting a little bit of a belly.
Oh, man.
It's not fun.
No, it's not fun. I'm actually really disappointed in you.
Well, I try to go for a run, but I get distracted by your comments when I run. So it's your fault that I can't go for a run.
You just stop and scream into the world.
Yeah. And I get an Uber back and then type out an email to you or something.
Wait, that's not what I want to play. Stop it. Ears up, ears up, ears up. In depth. Here we go. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. This has been Ears Up In Depth number 35, Jeremy. We've been doing this for a year and a half. I know. There's no signs of slowing down. I'm interested to see what happens when we get more details on the Jungle Cruise ride and, Downtown Disney opening and all that, kind of fun stuff. So anyway, thanks a lot, everybody, for checking us out. If you're in the chat room, thank you for being live with us. I really appreciate that as well. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/earsup. That's the best way to support our show. Subscribe via Patreon, whatever they want to call it. And you get a lot of cool stuff, for just helping us keep the lights on. If you are listening live and you don't know already, we are doing a Tiki Room this Friday. So 2 days from now, we're going to be in the old Tiki Room and having some drinks and playing some games and just kind of hanging out. Jeremy, you can join us if you want, but it might be too late for you because I know you are an old man now.
I have house guests this weekend. It's my birthday.
And when's your birthday?
Saturday.
Saturday. Your birthday is
Mhm.
Saturday. Okay, well, we should plan something embarrassing for you.
Okay.
So you have house guests. Okay, so you're not going to join us. They can join us too. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
No, that
I'll
sounds
see
boring.
about it. I don't think
Yeah. I think your friends are really boring. So
so. I'll tell Libby you said that.
no, I'm just kidding. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and be safe, be nice to each other, and we'll see you later. We did it, Jeremy.
Wow, I can't believe we did it. 2
We're-
hours later, but we did it.
We're still on the on live, but
That's okay.
we recorded that fucking show.
Oh.
God, that was terrible. But so Taryn, like I said, Taryn thinks she has a solution for it. So we'll have to test it with you. Unfortunately, we have to like figure out a way to like a time to test it with you.
Yeah, I think we should do a test before, like not on the night that we record next time.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But if not, that means everybody else has to get on Skype, and it's gonna be a whole, we have to reframe shit. So I don't know.
Wait, well, let me see. Maybe there's the last time I checked, Ring Central did not have an update.
Okay.
But I mean, look at it. We haven't had any camera issues since we were on this tonight. I'm convinced it's Ring Central related.
Oh, for sure. No, 100%. I just don't understand why you're having an issue and not us.
Well, do I use a Mac and you don't?
No, I have a Mac.
You're using a Mac? Are you on Big Sur?
I don't know.
Go to About This Mac.
First of all, don't ever tell me what to do.
Go there now, actually.
Let me see. I'm on High Sierra.
Oh, you've got I think this is because I went on to the very newest Mac version.
Well, let me see, because this computer is old. It's 2013 or 2011, so I don't even know if I can go any higher than High Sierra. Yeah, I don't have any new updates.
What?
Let me check this one.
Well, Thomas says that the audio quality is really good in here.
Thomas, is it better than normal? So yeah, on my newer computer, my 2015, I'm on Big Sur.
Oh, but Ring Central runs on it?
I don't know. I don't really use it on. I don't really use it. I don't know. Anyway, as interesting as this conversation is, that's it. You did your part, Jeremy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I put some.
When's the next Spectro Time segment, brother?
That is exactly what I was just going to talk to you about. But I think I may change it because I think I put that I was going to do the Music of the Jungle Cruise. But I may want to wait now until that.
No, why would you wait? That's the perfect time.
No, because it could come out and change, and then I would have missed a segment. You know what? I want it to be as current as possible. I don't want to do the segment and then 3 months later a new ride comes out.
Well, why don't you do the history of the Music of the Jungle Cruise? We can spin it, but I think that's very timely. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do it. I think that's what I put it in. I think. How do I get to that? Like, how do I get to it? Did you email it to me? The link? I never know how to get to it.
Well, you're dumb. It's quiet. It's quiet. It does look a little quiet. Let me turn this up right now. I'm turning it up. Oh, well, YouTube people. So you let me know if this is better.
Oh, you emailed me docs.
There we go. Let's try that. You guys let me know in like 15 seconds if this is sounding any better. I apologize if I blow your speakers. Yeah.
I said Music of the Jungle Cruise on March 18th.
March 18th. Okay. Well, look, I think we can still do it.
So my question for you is, because I actually do want to know that I do need to ask you this. When I'm filling this out.
Yes.
I try not to do it on a night where Bev is doing a movie review, or you know what I mean, so that it's not like we're cramming too much in. But then that does become, like my next one won't be till June 17th. So I've only put 2 in because it was like, hold on, let me see why. Like I didn't want to do the one on April 22nd because Bev's doing a movie review, and then.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what. If you.
But if you don't care, I will.
I don't. Well,
or like an a Main Street window. There's Main Street windows sprinkled throughout. So like I didn't want to double up on those.
Well, Main Street windows are like half a minute. They're not very long.
Okay.
I think I see what you're saying with the movie review, because it's an extra 5 minutes and it's a lot of just being talked at for the listeners, I would imagine. But if you have, what I don't want to do is sort of like wring you dry of content. So I'm fine with sprinkling it out if it means extending the amount of segments that we do together. If that doesn't matter, if you can do content forever, I will move a show around. I will change anything. Like you can see from the amount of people that have filled out the shows, there's a lot of room to move stuff around. So don't worry about that. These are not set in stone, especially like months down the road. We can definitely change stuff. So just let me know. Just shoot me an email if that works.
Okay. I mean, I just put these in for now, but I'll keep that in mind for the Main Street window because I could double up there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I have more Spectro Time segments than I have a long list. I mean, I probably have 30 more ideas for shows at least right now.
Well, then you tell me. I mean, if we can at least get one a quarter minimum,
yeah,
that would be great.
Right now, I've got 2 down for the year, but I also have an idea. This is the other thing I want to talk to you about. I have a full show.
Okay. Tell me when you want to do it, and I will move anything around.
In the fall.
Okay. Pick a date.
So, like, if I know you have interview placeholder on September 2nd, like, I could probably do it there.
Okay.
The Music of Coco.
September 2nd. What the fuck are you talking about?
September 2nd, 21. Line 27.
There you go. Yep, I do have that, and I can change that or whatever. So we have our new intern Maddie with an I. And she's supposed to be trying to get interviews, but I don't know. I'll check in with her, see if she needs anything.
Well, just so you know that there is a full show out there if you need it, but I probably will need a bit of time to work on it. Or maybe a couple weeks.
Well, like I said, man, you tell me when it works for you, and we'll make anything fit. Like you can tell by the people who have filled this out, not everybody has filled anything out. So there's a lot of places that we could still, like the Disneyania collectibles show or whatever for like November 4th. Nobody's claimed that. Someone gave that as an idea for a show. Nobody's claimed it. We could just move whatever to there and then crowbar you in. So I'm not worried about it. We can figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. I think 318 is going to be here before we know it. So
what happens then?
That's going to be my first one of the year.
Oh, I love it.
Spectro Time.
All right.
So.
All
right.
Cool.
What else?
I don't know. Nothing, man. That's about it. I'm going to go to the bathroom, say goodnight to Alice, and cook dinner.
What are you having?
Chicken legs, chicken quarters, and tomato sauce, and with olives and capers.
And you bake it?
Yeah. It's like a one skillet, thing. We're probably in the cast iron, and you start it on the stove, and you throw it in the oven to
I make something very similar.
I will take a picture of the recipe and then delete it and never send it.
I don't do capers. I like capers, but I put tomatoes, olives, artichoke hearts with chicken thighs.
So Taryn is thinking about doing like a cooking thing. She approached me on it, and I was like, I don't really think anybody gives a shit. But then she did a poll on Instagram, and she never told me if anybody responded or whatever. But like,
I didn't see that
for like an ears. But it was on her Instagram, and then I think Maddie shared it on the show Instagram. But I don't know if anybody it's non-Disney related food stuff. But I don't know if anybody cares. I mean, we sort of produce a lot of content. I feel like I'd rather have her do things Taryn Googled.
Yeah, tell her not to spread herself too thin.
That's what I think too. Do you want to hear a preview of things Taryn Googled?
Yeah, I was gonna say, has that come out yet? Because I feel like she teased it, but I don't remember seeing the post.
She teased it, but it's going to be the Patreon reward for like the $12 level this month. But I'm also going to release the first episode for like free people. Those should go on YouTube.
Oh yes, you said that in the last show that you were going to start. I was thinking of doing that with my Spectro Insider after a year.
Yeah. See, here we go. Here's
Which I have
a
to do
little
another one.
a little blurb of things Taryn Googled for you 8 people watching.
Haven't done this particular thing for a while.
I can't show the video, unfortunately. But.
It's me, Taryn. I'm back with things Taryn Googled. If you're not familiar, I Google a lot of things. And sometimes I feel like other people might want to know some of the information that I find out. And I took a hiatus during quarantine for no other reason except laziness and the fact that the only things that I was Googling for about 8 months were recipes. I am back though. I've started Googling things. Things are starting to kind of feel like they're getting back to some sort of normalcy. So I'm back. Things Taryn Googled. So if you follow me on Instagram at Taryn Star with 2 R's.
Well, self-plug.
I have been doing a
Atrocious.
lot of quarantine cooking. We haven't been eating out just to be extra safe. And so we haven't eaten out in 10 months. We haven't ordered out. We hadn't done anything. And so the only thing
True.
that really keeps me happy in that kind of scenario is to try different foods and try different recipes and things like that. And so I've really gotten into cooking and baking. And one day I right before Christmas, I was cooking bread in a Dutch oven. And so you put the Dutch oven in the oven and you get it all hot and everything. And then you put your dough in there and then you close it and you cook it. So I was doing that. And so I took the Dutch oven out. It was hot, of course. So I took it out. I put it on the counter. I put my bread in and then I did something else and I turned and I came back and I picked up the Dutch oven with my hand and I burned the crap out of my hand. Like instant just fire. Put my hand in water. And as my hand was just soaking in water, and I'm trying to Google because I still have baking to do. I can't be without a hand. So I'm Googling all these things and I'm not coming up with a whole lot. So I go, okay, I'm not doing this right. I need to Google something more specific. So I wanted to Google the top part of your palm. Well, to my surprise, it's called your palm. And maybe this is common knowledge. I don't know. But I would assume, like, when somebody says palm, it's this. This is your palm. This is hand. I don't know. So,
like she's gesturing when she says this is hand, like where where you get calluses, right? Where your finger joints meet your palm. Yeah, that's just still called your palm, apparently.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's Taryn.
She thought she thought there was a border here.
I don't know, man. Well, because she's like, then she gestures like in the middle of your palm, and she's like, when you say palm, that's what I think. I don't think of like where you get calluses as your palm, but apparently it is.
See, without seeing the video, I thought she meant this.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, well, that's just the back of your hand.
Well, anyway, things Taryn Googled, and then if you don't know about it, I'll release the first one. We'll follow social media. Jeffrey, you say you have a show segment. Email me, brother, because I will forget to private message you. I swear to God I will.
Well, this was my question. He said that, but like, where do we private message him?
I don't know.
On here? Can you private message him on here? Is he on Instagram? I don't know.
I don't know.
So I was very confused by that.
Well, just email me.
I just messaged Carrie.
Thomas got a compliment on my shirt. That's cool. Working on some shirts, man. Working on some shirts. Working on some tiki mugs. We're doing some things. I don't know. I gotta go to the bathroom. So, and I gotta say goodnight to Alice, which is second to me going to the bathroom.
Right.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate it.